Welcome to the best hour of their day podcast with your hosts, Jason Fernandez
and me, Jason Ackerman. With more than 20 years in the business,
as both coaches and affiliate owners,
our passion is to help create world-class affiliates
and coaches by building
better boxes. Welcome to
the best hour of your day.
Do we need a new intro for this?
Yeah, we do. It's on the list. Also, I just realized now that Adam's live with us, we only have one viewer, and it's Kanan. We've cut our viewership in half because Adam's live with us.
Adam, go turn on your other computer. Open up YouTube. Watch yourself.
I texted Jimmy this morning. Jimmy said he was going to jump on.
You know, when you messaged yesterday about when you text me and Christian, there's James. I was like, oh, he's messaging about Orlando because we're going to do a podcast with him and Jimmy together as the Garage affiliate owners. And I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to have Adam on tomorrow. And I was excited. Sorry, I had to open my window. I'm still sweating from that workout. Anyway, Christian, before we got on.
You were talking about how you have a shitty haircut.
I don't have a shitty haircut. I was asking how frequently I should get my haircut because tomorrow will be 2 weeks, and I usually go every 3 weeks. But at 3 weeks, it's like scraggly.
Exo Garth. James.
I knew you got preoccupied with that Star Wars question.
Throw it in there. There we go. It was
after the Battle of Hoth. Garth. That's the cold place, Hoth, right?
Yeah.
Han Solo flew the. Adam, weren't you so glad you were like into girls instead of Star Wars when you were younger?
I wouldn't know the answers to any of the Star Wars.
James, that was a good one. James, that was a really good one.
Was that a good question?
That was a good one. That was a really good one. Like, you got to be top tier if you're going to get Exo. I told you,
we kicked off the live shows open challenge. Anyway, then you were making a joke about it, the haircut, and I was going to say, one, that's how infrequently you have a funny joke. You can literally pinpoint your old jokes. Like, you can quote them because there are like 3 of them. That was one.
No, it's just it's an extra good one.
And then
most of them, I just do them so often. I'm like, I can't remember all of them, but the ones that are like, that was a memorable one.
And then there's Nate on our team. So in Slack, once, maybe twice a year, Nate has a funny joke, but the rest of the year he's just trying, nonstop trying to get funny jokes. And then I'm like, this is the one. Stop now. Come back in a year for your next funny one. But
that was another good one. The other day, Pete asked for that. He asked for a best. He asked for.
That's a good one.
I'll see if I can pull up the picture.
Okay.
He asked for
pull that up. Those are really funny. So anyway, Adam, we got Dr. Fuller here. Here we are, wasting the good doctor's time away from the infirmary. Infirmary? Is it infirmary? It's been so long since I've been on rotation, Doc. Class is wrapped up at Thin Air.
Yeah, so we had 3 this morning, and we got 1 this afternoon. So I coached the first 2, and then got to work out in the 3rd one, and then we did our little coach debrief after her class, and then helped kind of clean up the gym and checked off some Trello things, and then the only thing on my to-do list was talk to you guys.
I had lunch with Justin and Erica.
Oh yeah.
Last week, and I didn't realize they had stopped by your box.
Yeah,
and then they were like,
he was fly fishing or something.
Yeah, they were driving through. He said they were really impressed by how immediately after class you were giving feedback, essentially in your living room.
Yeah,
but that's how it has to be. Yeah, in the lounge. but that's how it should be, whether in your garage or at the box, like. If you're watching a class, whether taking it or participating or evaluating it, immediate, often feedback, and it opened their eyes to like, oh, that's what feedback should be. Are you going to show this, Christian? Christian wants to show off his joke. Let him.
Okay. This is a good one.
All right, go ahead.
Adam will appreciate it. Alan appreciate it.
So this is our private Slack group for the team.
Yeah.
And Pete
Shaw asked for a high. He asked for a high resolution best hour desktop, so I sent him this.
When was that? I was jacked then.
I don't know.
That was I
It
think
must
that
have
was
been
right.
yesterday.
It was AI. It was AI.
I think that was before I did the 3-day fast in May because I felt bloated. All right, so Christian, you wanted to ask Adam a few questions. We can certainly dig into that, but then I
Oh.
also
I was gonna say, let me on the feedback.
you want to keep going? Okay,
I was
sorry,
just
doctor.
well, I was just doctors. I was just texting Vince is his name. He's another garage gym guy, and he was asking about feedback. And I think the thing that feedback doesn't have to be scheduled. It doesn't have to be. I mean, we have our quarterly meetings coming up this week with our coaches, but whether I'm coaching a class or any of the other 3 coaches are coaching the class, as soon as the class is done, if there's a coach in your class, which 90% of the time there is, they're going to give you feedback. What went well, what didn't go well. And today I was talking to Ashley, one of our coaches, and she's a great coach. And I said, hey, I'm going to try to find one thing for you to be more efficient on. And so I gave her, like when you're so used to receiving the feedback, they're like concerned when they don't get feedback. And that's reciprocated. If I have a class and like, hey, how'd I do? And if they don't find something, I'll be like, great. Well, tomorrow you're gonna have to find something. So giving and receiving feedback every day we do it.
Are you guys doing, is your whole team doing the coach development and affiliate you, Adam?
Good question. I am, Ashley is, and Brooke is learning how to submit videos. So she's like she's at like a 50%. She will record a bunch, but sometimes it just doesn't make it in. And so then I'll review it and give her feedback, but it's definitely more effective if someone from the team can do it. And then we get a different perspective. And the boss doesn't do it. So we can't fire her though. It's my wife.
She pays the other bills, but I think
she pays the bills, so she can do what she wants.
Fern talked about this at his recent presentation in Austin at the summit about being a good leader, and he calls them drive-bys, right? Whether it's post workout and you're giving feedback, or just not everything has to be this long, drawn-out meeting.
Yeah,
like drive-by should be happening all day long to advance the business forward, whether that's coaching development, whether it's just small things that need to happen. And we live in a day and age where it's like everything, okay, schedule a meeting. It's like, just give me this 2-minute thing and we'll move forward.
Yeah, we're like logging scores. So I'll be like logging scores and she's like wiping up, chalk or whatever. And I say, hey, the thing I thought about today was this. And I think you did a really good job making this happen. And, if I really had to dig into something, I would say the transitions between this and this could be tighter. And I was like, great, thanks. She's going to coach a different day this week. And next thing you know, like she applies it so well. I mean, all of my coaches will take the feedback and apply it. And I think when it happens regularly, and they're good at giving feedback. One of my newest coaches, I was like, how'd I do? And she'll, hey, this piece of the progression was just a little confusing. No surprise. I was just talking too much.
Did you tell her you're a level 4?
I said, it's doctor, but thank you.
First, it's doctor. Second of all, how dare you?
Yeah, no, I try to get feedback from them as much as I can. And then I also share the feedback that I get from the team.
I want to pose a hypothetical question to you two. By the way, didn't we agree this was not the layout we were going to use?
I thought this was the one we were going to use. Do you want to?
No, I feel like I don't know where to stand with this.
You like this one?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do this one.
Okay, so I go to a box. What would you want? Okay, so you have a level 4 that comes in, I would say consistently 2 times a week. Do you think they want feedback from me?
Are you a coach on staff?
No.
No,
that was your answer? No? Or were you repeating me?
No, I don't think that unless they have asked you for feedback, it's feedback is given. Feedback is best received when it comes with a side of like, maybe I care about the outcome of this gym.
But I do
because I'm on staff with it. But
Have you offered, Jay?
I would say yes, and it's not a no, but it's also the only time I have is immediately after, right? I leave.
yeah,
I typically go Tuesdays and I have to come here, so I don't have time to like sit there and go on about it. But there are definitely and for the record, I love it. Like I've said this time and time again, like start on time, end on time, and play some decent music. The music is but they start on time and end on time. Have a great workout. But there's I just and I'm again to Adam's point, it's like I'm just trying to make you like the feedback would never
Yeah.
be intentional to harm you. It's like, hey, I've been doing this a long time.
mm-hmm.
I noticed you do this. This is what I would change.
I would treat it the same way I would treat if I were taking class at a gym that I didn't go to, but the members knew that I was a coach. Like, I'm not just going to go start giving members cues. I might go up to somebody and like, hey, I see something like, hey, I got something for you. Are you interested? And if it's a no, or if they're like, man, I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. I mean, that's the approach I would take.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'd just ask.
I would ask. Yeah. I would just straight up ask them.
Hey, do you want
Because
feedback?
I wouldn't assume that it's a yes. Just like I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, even sometimes my members come into the gym and they're just putting out vibes. They're like, I don't want to be coached today.
Yeah, and I don't get those. I do think it would be received well. I definitely don't get those vibes.
Yeah, go for
but
it.
Just
then.
little things. I think it's one of those situations where they're never getting feedback.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's never going to improve. It's gonna essentially stay the same. It can only really get worse, actually, right? Because you can only do what you're doing and make it worse because you don't know what better is.
Yeah.
And let me ask, okay, follow-up question. Because this is one of the things I would have given feedback on. What's up, Fernando? Clean progression with PVC, yes or no?
We always start with a PVC. I shouldn't say always.
I love
Always
that answer, Adam. I love that answer.
But okay, go on, because I don't like it. But tell me why. Change my mind, Doc.
Well, okay. So I want to see positions, and I'm going to hold you there for a while. And so when I see static positions, and I'm going to assume that everyone needs some help on their static positions. And if I can make your PVC pipe look better, as soon as I give you a barbell, I have my worry of you messing it up goes way down. The other thing in our gym is I can't fit 12 barbells in there, but I have a bunch of short PVC pipes. So I can give everyone a PVC pipe and give cues around the room and know that, okay, our deadlift setup is great. Now go ahead and put your barbells or your PVC pipes away, grab a barbell and a partner, and then we go there. Now I don't sit there very long. We can have a PVC pipe for, the clean progression's got 5 steps to it. I can knock that out in 4 minutes, and then they're on a barbell.
But
I also don't have like go across the room and grab it. It's like 2 feet away.
Yeah, but the follow-up is it's not realistic. So, for example, the workout we did this morning had like 4x3 squat clean, and then it was a thruster ring total bar workout. But and I'll be completely candid, I felt better after PVC. Like, had she been like grab a barbell, I would have been like, yo, I need to get a little warm. Right. Yeah. But it was like this jump, shrug, pull under is not happening realistically with PVC. So you have to be aware of that then as the coach. Be like, it's not going to be the timing you want to see with a barbell. You're going to have to let me get my elbows and then drop into my front squat. So as long as that's the intention.
Yeah, I'm going to get you on the deadlift, and then I'm going to get you on a deadlift shrug because I can still see some timing there. I'll get you on a front squat to make sure our elbows and our hips and knees and everything, those front squat points of performance are there. And then I'm probably not going to spend a ton of time on the shrug and drop, right? Shrug, pull under. It's like 2, making sure like, yes, you're now landing in the front squat, but I'm not going to harp on that because like you said, it's unrealistic and you're not going to get it. And then I'm going to put a barbell in your hand.
It depends too on the workout.
Let the level force. Let the level. Use the level.
Well, I'm a counter argument to you, Jay. 2 of the 3 of us are currently coaching still,
All right, fair.
One of us
fair.
is sitting in his basement, wondering if anybody wants his feedback.
Okay, follow up to the follow up. Jump and shrug when you're warming up a clean or snatch. So these people, I don't like this jump, shrug, high pull because it's not a
No.
realistic movement, right? Like
No.
drive through your toes, squeeze your butt hard, be on your toes. Now I get it. Like no different than a jerk. I'm going to teach you to jump and land because we're going to have heavy weight on your shoulders. The difference is with the jump, shrug, high pull, the timing gets all screwy when you have PVC.
And you get people early arm pulling. It's like in the same way
Right.
that I don't think a muscle snatch is a staple of you have to do muscle snatch to teach a power clean. I'm going to do a hang power clean because what do I really need to see? That they jump and then land with hips back and a good sound power clean catch. If they're going to shrug high pull, I'm always on my athletes from pulling early. So why am I doing a move that has them pulling more? I'd rather them deadlift shrug and keep the bar close and then hang squat clean or hang power clean, pause, make some adjustments. And yeah, a lot of Bergner stuff is great, but I think people see the points of those things. It's like, hey, if you're going to do a snatch balance, why are you doing a snatch balance before we just start throwing things at them?
That's a really great broader point for coaching in general, right? Specifically I was going to say specific, but I would throw in the general warm up. Like, don't do things because you think you should. Like Adam just said, why are you doing them? And again, so for the PVC warm up for the clean today, it's like cool. Like I don't mind doing this, but I think that's a point missed for especially when you're teaching newer people. Like, hey, here's why we're doing this. Right. Yeah. And you don't have to belabor. We're not giving a presentation, but it's like, hey, when I say jump shrug, what I'm really telling you to do is squeeze your butt before you shrug.
Right.
Like,
it's about timing more so than anything.
Yeah, no, and I think an example I would use in my I went to a wrestling class yesterday, and the guy, great buddy of mine, Hopper, he's like, hey, point your toe down. And I'm like, why? Right? And he was like, well, when you point your toe down, you're putting more weight on your opponent. I was like, oh, so that's the concept I need to know. Right? Like the pointing my toe helps me put the weight down, but the real thing I'm trying to do is put my weight down on him. Right? And that's where it's like, yeah, we are jumping and shrugging, but here's why we're doing that. Because I need you to time it well. And that's how you're going to get people to understand, because it's going to be a clean, it's going to be a snatch, it's going to be a jerk, it's going to be a push press. Like all of these movements, the universal motor recruitment pattern look the same.
It doesn't have to be a surprise.
I hope you're writing this down, Christian, because you're getting this is essentially you preparing you for your level 4. It's like that. I was trying to think, what's the course you take before your SATs? This is like the Kaplan course.
SAT prep.
Yeah, this is
so. When I'm teaching the deadlift shrug, it's not supposed to be a surprise to my members too. All right, team, we're going to do deadlift shrug. It looks like this. What I'm looking for is that you squeeze your butt and then shrug your shoulders. I say that's just like, yeah. I want them to know that because that's the why.
It's not a secret.
I don't need to go. I don't need to go in a dissertation of why either. Sure, deadlift shrug looks like this. I'm looking at this, then this. Then they give it to me every time.
And by the way,
it's not like, what am I looking for?
James, who's coming here in December, this is the type of stuff you want at your level 4. Christian, let's put you on the spot. When are you taking your level 4?
I don't know.
Oh, boy.
Come on. What do you mean I don't? This is unlike you.
I was.
You're typically very driven, goal oriented.
I am very driven and goal oriented, and it was just a matter of like, is this where I want to put my energy?
Okay, put it into best.
To a good point. So good point. That's you're gonna have to carve out hours and hours to do it. And I think if people don't do it, then
that's more of it. It's just the amount of energy that I know that's going to put into it. Is why it's in an I don't know.
I like that crew you're wearing, Adam. CrossFit Thin Air there. That's cool. Do you guys sell those at the box?
Yeah, you want one?
Medium?
Sleeve. You do?
Yeah, that looks cool. Yes.
Send him the Shopify link, Adam. You can get it shipped directly to him.
You know what though? That's what we were saying last week about you, Adam, when you popped on, right? Like you passed your level 4 about a year ago now, right?
Yep, end of October.
And leading up to that, tell everybody. I mean, I think it's important for people to hear. James McDermott, my buddy from Albany CrossFit, he's coming out here in December. He's taking it at Mafia. Other people that are watching. I think it is important because Christian, you're right. Like, we don't want you to half-ass it. We want you to pass. But Adam, give a little brief, help these people understand the amount of time and effort you put in.
Yeah, so I signed up for it. I quit my teaching job, and the first day of school, that was September or whatever, and that's when I signed up for my level 4 last year, and my first day not teaching. So early September, and I signed up for it end of October. And
pretty fast.
I think yeah. I mean, didn't go without a lot of practice in years before that. So there was a lot of basis of that. And then it was like sign up for the knowledge, get as much content as I could. And then I think there was every Wednesday, with the exception of maybe a couple Wednesdays, I drove down 3 hours to Boulder, went to Mafia, watched Brentney coach, watched James coach, attend a class of a level 4, and start to feel and hear and what's the rhythm and what's the sequence. And then I'd sleep on a friend's couch, and then get up the next morning, coach at Ralston Creek, and coached a couple classes there. And then I went to Roots later in the afternoon to jump into their workout where Nicole was coaching. And then the other reason I went to Roots is because that's where my test was. And so where do people put their bars? Where do people stand? How does, Roots do it? Just trying to be in the environment of where I was going to go. So I did that every Wednesday, every Tuesday night to Wednesday morning.
Adam, do you remember what some of the things were like as you were doing that and going to those classes? Because you were saying like, I wanted to see what they were doing. I want to know what the rhythm was. And do you remember what some of those things were after taking those classes? You're like, oh, this is what I needed to go back to button up my class.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was James would always
James Hobart.
He'd say, all right, it looks like this. I'll say go. I'll say stand. I'll say reset. He was telling you exactly what was going to happen. He told you what he was going to tell you. He told you, and then he told you what she told you, right? And so like that system and just hearing it over and over again. And then what I borrowed from Nicole is she coached the warm up like it was the middle of the workout. It was like, all right, stand here. Now we're going to do this. Kip swing. Hey, tighten up. I mean, I don't know how many times Nicole like stopped me mid workout and said, hey, you got to get this timing right of the row or whatever. I'm just like, I'm winning right now. Stop stopping me. But that's how like the relentlessness never stopped with some of those things. So yeah, it was the systems, it was the layouts, with going to Roots, I just I was taking mental notes on where people stood and because Roots members were going to be in the level 4. And so as much as I could see what was common faults, common patterns, I wanted to know those before going into it.
I went and got feedback from Todd earlier this year.
Todd
Acuto, yeah. And to what you had just alluded to was you don't realize like how many things your members are just used to doing because you do it all the time. And then like when you go coach people you don't coach, like maybe they don't like tell them to pause every time. Maybe sometimes they do 10 reps and you have to be like super specific on like what you want because you don't have this like unspoken cultural communication like you do with your normal classes. So like when you go take your level 4, like you don't know what these classes are like. Even if you dropped in, like you need to be very explicit of like how I'm going to run this.
Yeah, because how I may do a class with my people, they know that they're going to hold in the bottom of the squat because that's just what coach does. Now, luckily, Roots also has a high standard, and where I dropped in has a high standard. But there's also times where I went to gyms and like I got to tell you, we're going to do this, then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this.
I think that's a really important factor when it comes to the level 4 is if you're coaching at a box that doesn't have that standard, it's challenging, right? So, and I would throw that to CrossFit. Like it should be on them to make sure, hey, the boxes that are hosting this are doing CrossFit. Because if you go to a box that does insert any program with 3 or 4 parts, and you're like, hey, today we're doing Jackie. And you're like coaching them through, like we talked
All the
about, the
positions
general.
on the rower. They're like,
Yeah,
what are we
they're
doing
gonna be
here?
like this. They're gonna complain, and I know of people that have had that. So how many hours would you say you coached for free in preparation for your level 4?
I mean, I think I traveled to Boulder maybe, what was that, 10 weeks, and I coached two or three at Ralston Creek for free each week, and then sometimes I went to Trailhead with Erica and Justin. Coached, I think, 3 or 4 of their classes in that day, maybe more. I don't know, whatever, 10 times 4
Well,
is
and you're not factoring. I mean,
40.
Adam lives 3 hours from all these places.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So we're not even factoring that in.
Yeah, always listening to something. Always listening to something that was going to move the needle for sure. Whether it was for my own business or for the coaching, or sometimes it's just decompression of coming home. I was just like, I just need to listen to something funny. So,
What's your go-to? What's your go-to to decompress, Adam?
I mean, I hardly listen to anything funny.
You
on
said
the way
something
home.
funny,
Those-
so I assume it's our podcast.
Yeah, well, usually if there was one I didn't listen to, I would always, or I'd go back and listen to something that, was made me laugh.
I would like to get to know Adam. Do you mind if I take a tangent, Christian, for a moment?
What if I said yes?
I would go do it anyway. But we don't know a whole lot. I don't know a whole lot about Adam personally. I mean, I know you're married. You've got your daughter. She still naps. I got home that night from dinner, and I was like, Roz, you're not going to believe this. Like, Harper still naps. And she was like, how old? And I was like, 2 years older than Madison.
Yeah.
And then she was like, what are they doing? We have to figure this out. But what are, like, okay, so tell me, like, what do you and Julia do, like, for fun?
Well, during the summer we get on the river a
Give
lot.
her feedback about her coaching. No.
Yeah.
What'd you say? In the summer, what?
Yeah, there's a river access, and so whether it's surfing or downriver paddleboarding, hikes, things like that. Oftentimes, I'm very much a homebody, so I don't mind just kind of hanging out the house and working on different things here. Yeah, we don't do nothing. It's nothing like surprising. Sometimes we think the mundane of every day is kind of the beauty of what our schedule looks like. Routines.
Do you guys watch Netflix together?
No, we don't watch TV. Don't even have one.
You don't have a TV in the house?
Nope. Not in the
See, this is interesting, right, Christian? What do you do from like 7 to 9 at night? What goes on?
So we'll, after we put Harper to bed about 7:30, it's usually finishing up whatever we needed to for the day because we're both self-employed, and then making notes of what we need to accomplish. And maybe Julia will, she's an artist, so you never know. She may go do some ceramics that evening. If there's volleyball, maybe I'll go play some volleyball. But for the most part, it's routines getting set up for the next day. And I just love preparation for the next day.
I know Adam and I have something in common. So at night, we'll like set up our morning drink. And I'm always like thinking like that. Like, what can I do to make it's like efficiency? What can I do to be more efficient later? That's impressive that you guys don't watch any television. He's frozen, huh, Christian?
Yeah, I froze on us.
Do you watch Netflix, Christian, with Kayla?
Yeah, usually but it's like once a week. And
Oh,
it's
that's it?
Yeah, usually it's like once a week for like 30 minutes to an hour. And honestly, it just depends on what show. Usually it's because we're watching a show. And
Yeah,
it's
that's
like in the middle of especially if like a new Star Wars series is out. We'll watch, and it's like a 30 to 60-minute episode. We'll watch that episode, and then I won't watch TV again until the next week the next episode comes out.
Yeah, no, Roz and I, we didn't watch anything for almost a year and a half since Bodie's been born, but now we've gotten back in the habit. Like, we do like 30 minutes. Like, we're not like watching for hours and hours, but we'll watch we just started a new like mystery show last night. So anyway, let's wait for Adam to come back. Let's pull up the Instagram post that I want to chat about.
You had one you wanted to chat about?
I sent it to you. Yeah, go ahead, pull up my Instagram. It's one of the more
I will.
recent ones.
While I'm pulling this up, something I was thinking about when Adam was talking about just like clearly communicating and dropping into these other gyms and being explicit about directions. Like that's also super transferable to a normal class, especially if you have a new person.
How so?
Like being very explicit, like, "Hey, we're gonna pause at the bottom, and then I'll
Oh,
tell
you
you
mean
when to
just like,
stand."
yeah, it's like a
Just being
stress relief,
super,
right?
yeah. Because I mean, how many times? And I know I'm guilty of this. Is like you'll get like a new person in class, and you just start going
You
with the flow and
assume,
realizing,
yeah,
like, yeah, like, oh no, this is their first time. They have no idea how any of this works. I got to be super explicit.
yeah, and it's like demoing, right? It's like, here's the end. I'm going to show you where we're going. Now this
Yeah.
makes sense. All right,
And
so
then if you
Adam,
don't, then they feel lost.
Adam, we're pulling up a recent post on social media. I'd like to hear your perspective on it. Christian's pulling it up. Go ahead. It was the one about limited memberships.
Oh, okay.
So, Adam, what are your memberships over there at Thin Air?
We have unlimited only.
What's the cost?
$220 if it's month to month, $205 if it's 12 month,
12-month or 52-week?
12 months.
So you don't bill 4 weeks every 4 weeks.
No.
So, but I mean,
We need to have a private conversation.
Am I gonna
yeah,
get it?
no, we'll just we'll get you into affiliate you at some point, and no, I think
Yeah.
your rates are fantastic. I mean, to Adam's point, and for those that are just tuning in that haven't watched, we did a whole episode with Adam in April, so it's somewhere on our YouTube channel. But
Adam, do you
let's
know
have-
how that price compares to other gyms in your area? Do you pay attention?
We are. I would imagine we're more expensive than the other CrossFit gym in town, and then significantly more than the 24-hour gym. And then
Oh, sure.
I think in our Colorado region, we're definitely higher. But that's we could
I
talk
had a feeling
for
you were going to
hours.
say that, and I just wanted to.
we
I had a feeling
we
you were
talk
going to
about
say that,
hours
and
of one to ratios.
When you the whole point I want to bring was like you're in a garage.
and that's
Yeah.
what's cool. It's like this weird. I don't say it's weird because it's pretty standard, but it's like, why does a gym have to be in a box, right? Like, or not box literally, but right? Like, if you're getting fitter, who cares where it's happening?
Yeah, and I
Like-
would say like, hey, if someone said like, hey, that's your price and you're in your garage, I said, yeah, like, without being, I mean, no, it's in a world-class affiliate, and you're gonna get some damn good coaching when you come here. And
Yeah.
our coaches get feedback, and I mean, so much of what makes our gym successful is the ratios of I mean, I text our members regularly, several times a week, and I know, whose birthday it is, and so you're paying for great coaching and also a community space where you can't find that.
How many
Well,
members
and-
do you have now?
47.
I think we're at we have 37.
Why'd you laugh? I thought
37.
you had 47 members.
Over the summer we did. Over the summer
Yeah.
we peaked out at 47, and then all of our high schoolers went back to high school. So
They got to drop out. But, one of the things we could have talked about, and you mentioned on your ride back and forth for all your level 4 preparation, and when we had dinner a couple weeks ago, you mentioned you've listened to Unreasonable Hospitality 6 times.
yeah, and every time I come through it, it's from a different season. This season it seems like we're prepping for our big annual coaching summit, and so how do I lead my team, create ownership in there? How do they have the sense of they're responsible for certain things, and just how they did in that book of people were owning the fact that how processes were more efficient, and so that hits differently now than it did last year at the same time when I didn't have the staff that I have. And yeah, always learning.
Yeah, I think if you're watching this, if you're a coach, especially if you're an affiliate owner, you've got to check out Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guardia. One of the best books I've read, specifically in regards to owning a business. And I know most of our team has read it, most of our clients have read it. Highly, and to Adam's point, when you're concerned about what you're charging, I mean, there's many factors that go into it, but when you are being unreasonably hospitable, it makes it a lot easier to charge 205 and feel not just good about it, but like confident. And that was one of the points I wanted to bring up on this post. Look, I'm not suggesting limited memberships are terrible and you should never do them. There's a time and a place for everything. But as I was reading through the comments, the thing that struck out to me was not the reason why people were doing, well, it was one of the reasons, but it was more about fear of their cost
Oh yeah.
than why they were doing actually limited versus. That was what stood out to me. Like, and by the way, like I said, have a limited membership if you want, but let's open that up for conversation. And if you're watching this, be it a coach or an owner, I would love to hear your perspective in the chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, for
Adam.
us, the limited, if you're on some sort of punch pass or 2-day a week or something like that, and really, I'm not really as much as the number of days someone comes in. I have members who pay the full price and they only come 2 days, and I really try to get them to come to the third, and sometimes it's 3 and maybe 4, and that's fine. The biggest thing is they're fully bought into what we do, and so when I have someone who I don't see very often, it's hard for me to connect with them from the care side of it. When I see members like this today, we're going to have nearly 90% of our members come through the door, and that's huge for us. Because then I'm also have those touch points every single time. If I don't see you but once a week because you're on a punch pass, it's gonna be hard to connect. And anytime that's maybe it's punch pass or maybe it's like a 2 times a week, 3 times a week, you just don't. I believe in coming, and so I'm selling coming more.
Right.
And
It's
it's what I
funny 'cause
stand for.
these two comments really stood out to me, right? That are back to back. I'll read this one from Danny_Gross36. This is the type of elitist take that turns people off of CrossFit. Sorry, you can't work out more than 2 days a week, so you can't work out with us. Do better. I assume that was to me. Also, from an owner's perspective, this is it. This is where it's contradictory for many reasons, right? One, you're saying also from an owner's perspective, isn't it better? So you're saying from an owner's perspective, although I'm not one, right? Is that the take you got here, Christian? Like, isn't it better? Meaning I'm not actually an owner, but I'm going to tell you what an owner should think.
I didn't perceive that. I don't know if she's an owner or not.
Okay, I could be wrong there, but
I didn't take that.
Are you going to go creep on her right now? Is that what you're doing?
No, our account's private. Yeah, I was going to see if she had because a lot of times the owners will have their
Okay, well, let me answer that. Let's forget about the elitist thing because this is not meant to be elitist.
Yeah.
This is like silly. Like, I don't care if you work out 1 time a week. I'm selling only unlimited memberships. Like Adam said, I want you to come in more. But if all you got is 1 time a week, hey, it's 205.
Yeah, nobody's saying you have to work out more because I do the same thing in my gym.
Yeah, it's
like this is
and if you read the entire post, that's the point. The way you position it is like, hey, we base our membership off coming in 2 times or 3 times a week. By the way, if you can come in 4, I know later on this, Chris Anderson answered, it's like, how often can I come? All of them, like as much as you want. But you can also come as little as you want. But anyway, from an owner's perspective, isn't it better to have 10 limited memberships than none? People are trying to pay bills and be healthy, let them. So I do think most of the people commenting on here, when it comes to money, it's their own perception of money. It's, well, I would struggle to pay for this. So everybody else in the world, hey, maybe everybody else in the world has more money than you, first of all, right? Like, that's your perception of money. But second of all, no, not necessarily. Why would you either have 10 or 0? What would be better is if you educate those 10 people as to why they should be unlimited. Because the point that Adam made earlier is these limited people, when you can't connect with them, when they're not seeing the goals or they're not seeing the improvements hitting their goals, they're not going to stick around as long.
Yeah, well, the retention side of it's huge.
Yeah.
What Adam alluded to too. Go ahead, Adam. You go.
Let the guest.
That's why I said Adam go.
For the retention side of it, for one, if there's also this thought of like, I'm paying for this, and so I'm going to come as many times as I can.
Yeah.
And when I'm fully bought into it, from the connection with the coaches, with the connections with the community, I'm coming to the field, to the social events, and those are pieces of your unlimited access to quality coaching, which doesn't stop at the door. right? The coaching is going to be well beyond that. And you may only come in the door, you may only come through my living room twice a week, but you're going to hear from me 5 times a week. And you're going to know the events coming up. You're still invited to the Christmas party. And so unlimited is not a like you need to come this time. You have unlimited access to what's your questions? You're feeling this today? How can I help you? Right? Here's your nutrition question. You struggled with sleep last night? Here we go. Here's what we would recommend. Right? That doesn't
You're a
if it's
doctor.
limited.
You're a doctor for these people.
Yeah.
No, I mean, as you're saying it, it's like true though. Like you're like a virtual doctor. Like, hey, like you said, because it is so much more than just what happens here. Like you mentioned sleep. You mentioned like other, social events. Like how much did we realize it's important to be involved in a community? Like all of those things, right? And again,
Yeah.
it's nonsense to think like I'm trying to be elitist. I go to the box twice a week myself, right? And I
Yeah.
train all the other days, but as far as a business, it doesn't make sense. And again, it may make sense depending on, and here's the other thing. If you are going to offer limited memberships, you got to think about the pricing. Because if it's 205 at Thin Air for unlimited and 100 for 2 times a week, I guarantee you everyone's opting into that $100 membership because it's such a price discrepancy. It should be like $10 less. Like, hey, for $10 more, you can literally come 4 times as often.
Yeah, I
Right?
mean,
Christian,
for us, we also have like those touch points of at home. And then the other question is like, if you're only coming 2 times a week or 4 times a week, 6 times a week, how often do you want me to connect with you? Well, you're
right.
limited, so I'm actually not gonna. I'm not gonna be hospitable to you. I'm gonna be only 2 times hospitable versus unlimited
Right.
hospitable.
Well,
I
then
want to
you're
connect
looking
with
at
all of my
people,
people.
right? Because people are paying different prices, and
Yeah,
let's throw one other thing, and then Christian, I want to hear your point. Not every box is like this, but Adam, you have a garage, and many affiliates, no matter how big, it's like we have X amount of square footage. So what's going to happen is on Mondays and Tuesdays, the days more people come, the limited people are going to take up spots from the unlimited people. And then if the unlimited people cancel, limited people are costing you money. Go on, Christian.
Well, the thing that this lady doesn't consider too is like when you sell limited, you're literally limiting them from coming more. And like of
Yeah.
the, when she says 0 or 10, well, I'm willing to bet that there's several of those people that, like Adam mentioned, I'm going to be able to talk into coming more than twice after
Yeah.
I've sold you your
Or they
unlimited.
or they walk into the gym, and thanks, Jimmy Nixon's on here. See you in
yeah.
Orlando, Jimmy. You and Adam. Or how many times have you experienced this, Christian? More so than Adam, probably, or some of the owners, where it's like, "Hey, I'm probably gonna just come in twice a week," and then like you have unlimited membership, and then before you know it, they're coming in 3 or 4 times a week.
That's my point. But if you sell them limited, you didn't allow them to do that. They're just
Right.
like, oh, I only come twice. And like,
Because
I'm
Yeah.
selling you inferior results, opposed to if I encourage you to get in the committed club, you're going to get fitter, you're going to get healthier, you're going to like this more, you're going to stay longer. But if I sell you twice a week, like, I'm
The
stunting
and
your
then
growth.
the membership, you may
yeah,
get 10 members, but if it's unlimited and you get less people, but you keep them, like my retention over the last 2.5 years is crazy high because it's unlimited. And you're going to get tons of touch points from me each week, and we have to think about fitness is well beyond the hour of the class, and finding these different pieces of connecting with people is I just think if we have limited access, we start putting people in buckets.
yeah, no, that's
And
it. That's exactly right.
yeah, and our committed club is, one thing that our goal is going into 2025 is I want to see more people on our committed club. I have a percentage that right now we're at, let's say 40%. I wanted 55% or more of our people to be at 15 workouts plus a month. And because what does that do? Yes, my members are coming more, but they see the product over and over and over again. And I don't need to constantly be reminding them why they need us. It's proof. They know because they're here.
Well, then and yes, Case, that's the exact point. But someone comes in 15 times to your box, like you're not worried when life gets busy they're going to disappear, right? Like even if life gets crazy busy, it's a habit, it's a routine. They're going to be back. I mean, I think for the three of us, like fitness is just what we do. It's who we are, right?
Well,
like
that's what you want to
that's
turn.
what,
You want to turn every member into that, so
Yeah.
that what
Like-
because I would say that eventually I'm not going to be their coach anymore. Like eventually you're going to
At that point,
move.
it's
Maybe I move.
inevitable,
Something
right?
will happen where I'm not your coach anymore, and I want to turn you into somebody who just is your life. And in order to do that, I need you to start coming 3 to 5 times a week.
All right, let's read another one. Let's read Lisa Marie Fafard. I generally like your content, thank you, and messaging, but I disagree on this one. It was like, let's not be gatekeepers to fitness. It's an elitist and privileged take.
You're an elitist,
I
Chad.
am an
don't know if you
elitist.
read.
I am an elitist. People need all the help they can get these days. I mean, we're belaboring the same point, I guess, right?
Well, my pushback with this too is like we're not selling fitness. Like we're selling help to get fit. Like we're selling coaching. We're selling the facility. Like now we have rowers that you didn't have to buy. We have a barbell that you didn't have to buy. We have a coach coaching you how to do it. We're shortening how long it takes you to get to where you want to be. And the reality is you could go do all of that for free or cheap.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people putting stuff out there like that. Like there's plenty of like you go do CrossFit Linchpin, go to their Instagram, go do their workout, fill your garage.
It's free.
It's
Any
free.
other comment? Keep scrolling through. Any comments stand out? Weak take. I like that one. Working out a gym and eating steak are two different. Not really. I mean, they are different, obviously, but it's not. Somebody posted earlier like that's why the steaks come in this. It's like most restaurants. Like there's two sizes of steaks, right? There's like you get one or the other. But the point being, it's like Adam and I went out to steak. I got a 20-ounce steak. I ate it all.
This is
Adam
so big.
was my favorite. And if I wanted a smaller one, I could have been like, hey, can you give me an 8-ounce one? It's like, this is what we offer. I like Sean. Thank you for backing me up. You know Sean here?
This guy?
Yeah. He's
No.
a short statured athlete. It's my buddy from, is that okay to say? Did I say that right?
Short statured athlete?
Yeah.
Do you care if you were wrong?
Not really. Sean wouldn't care. I called them way worse in private. But it's, this wasn't the point, but I loved his take. CrossFit in 100 words says 5 or 6 times a week. Why wouldn't that be the basis for your membership?
Agreed.
Yeah.
To this person's point,
I love all the
Bobby. Bobby said, "Why call it unlimited?" To your point, Bobby, I don't call it unlimited. To like at my gym, it just is my membership. They're like, "How
Yeah,
much
that's
is the
true.
membership?" It's like you've got 52-week commitment, 26-week commitment,
Right,
no commitment. Those are my options. It's not. I don't even use the word unlimited.
Why does it say put the coffee down, man? What's that mean? Like get off your soapbox?
Maybe. Or maybe he knew that while you were reading it, you'd be taking a sip of your coffee like you just did, and he wants you to put it down.
I like this one.
Clairvoyance.
You truly do some of the. I like this one. You truly do have some of the worst takes on the internet. That's so funny. Hey, when you guys see something that annoys you, do you comment or do you just scroll right by?
I usually scroll
Never
by.
comment.
Yeah, I've never left a comment on something that bothered. Literally never. You are outdated. I just enjoy reading the funny ones. What do you think about selling? All right, let's answer one more. What do you think about this? What do you think about selling 100 class cards valid 1 year? Okay, so that's essentially twice a week. That's your limited membership.
I hate that I would have to track it.
Well, one, there'd have to be it would have to be a system. And by the way, you just brought up a point no one's considered, Christian, right? Depending on what software, push press, Wodify, etc., you're also leaving it up to the coaches to make sure everyone is signed in too, right? So you're selling a membership, you're selling yourself more work by doing
Well, then what do you
limited
so like
membership.
one, the coach has to sign them in. So you're assuming that they did. So they like got credit for those classes that they came in. And then what do you want your coach to do when Jay shows up day 3 and he's told him a 2-time-a-week membership?
Oh, that's
They're like, hey,
great,
bro,
you
there.
can't come in
Sorry.
today. Right. That's a really
Yeah.
great point. Like,
That's gross.
oh, I thought
I-
I didn't realize I came in twice already this week, or I thought it was 8 times a month. It was actually twice a week, right? Like it's inevitable. It's like when someone says we cap classes, but then they let in the extra person. I'm like, so you don't actually cap classes? Well, we do, but when a 13th person shows, we let them in anyway. So you don't, right? And it's the same thing here. Like you have a limited membership until someone shows up, then you don't.
Because if I were coach, that's what I would do. I'd be like, "F that, jump
Hey,
into class."
I want to give you something later on today when I text you and I say, "Hey, I don't know why I have you as part of the show." I want you to remind me you said that as something good.
What?
Just kidding.
That's good insight.
That's feedback for you, Christian. Good job. That's a really great. No, in all seriousness, like that's a take that I'm sure Fern has said it because Fern's smarter than me, but like that was a great take.
Way smarter.
That I really hear. What were you gonna say, Adam?
I mean, for us, I think it always just comes down to, I want to be fully committed to you, and I want you to be fully committed to us. And a lot of our memberships are, part of our mission statement. Don't ask me to verbatim read it, but it has a lot to do with how we interact with the athlete and how athlete interacts with other athlete. And if that's limited, right, this happens less. Athlete to athlete happens less. We have people showing up for each other in life. And the other thing I think CrossFit gyms as a whole need to get in a better handle on is it's not the 1 hour. We just get to see them for 1 hour.
Yeah.
But there's so much more fitness. That bottom of that pyramid is nutrition. And I would say there needs to be a different layer of sleep, mental health. And that happens 23 hours of the day. You're not eating in the hour, and I need to coach you in the rest of the day.
No, and to your point, Adam, first of all, I learned 3 things about Adam. Doesn't have 4-week billing.
And he doesn't have a TV.
Doesn't have a TV. Doesn't know his mission statement.
I did look at it yesterday.
2 of those 3 are a problem.
Yeah, how do you not have a TV?
It's too long. I need to shorten my mission statement up so I can memorize it.
But it's what I was going to say is I do think the foundation where it says nutrition is essentially saying like other activity, like life. Yeah. Right? It's like what's happening, nutrition, sleep, stress.
Lifestyle, yeah.
Let's bring up one last point about this and then we can begin to wrap up. So where do we stand on the point? Because part of the takes here is the financial component, right? And Adam says, like, what you said is, I don't want to have what'd you say? It goes both ways, essentially. Right? You said, I don't want to have a limited.
Oh, he wanted them to be fully committed and he wanted them to be fully
committed, right? Where it's like, so what people will hear is, well, because I can't afford it, you're essentially saying I'm not committed. So where is this line here? Because I do want to show some, I don't know, empathy maybe. Because I get it. Like CrossFit is not inexpensive. I would also say it's not expensive. Like that mindset needs to change. $205 per month is not expensive to take care of your health. For reference, I pay $1,300 a month for health insurance, which I rarely use. And when I do use it, I have to pay more. Right? $205 to prevent you needing to use health insurance is not expensive. $205 to allow you to live 2, 5, 10 years longer, be more confident it's dirt cheap at the end of the day. But
Adam, how do you handle people that say that it's too expensive and then they're like, hey, I can't do this?
Adam lives in a bougie area, so he's not here.
I do.
Do you not get that a whole lot?
No, I mean, I had some people recently who are just like, hey, we can't afford that right now. And, there's the value adds, but for us, it's so hard for someone to understand the hospitality and the care side of what we do. And if you've never done CrossFit or if you've never done CrossFit with us, we can build confidence around those things. And those are just hard to value. And so when it becomes too expensive, I also have members who probably can't afford what we do, but that's valued so high for them that they've made it work for years. We have members who got kids, got part-time jobs, and they're making it work because they have come for a length of time and they're like, this place is different. I'm getting so much more than just fitness. And if it doesn't work out price-wise, it doesn't work out. I can't feel bad about it.
Well, I don't want to. Can I just say, at the risk of sounding elitist,
To do it.
I don't think it's a bad thing if everyone can't afford it. Like the three of us on this call right now have different thresholds for what we can and can't afford in life. Like whether it's your house, your car, the type of clothes you're wearing, like suddenly with fitness, it's like you're being elitist if you don't let everyone do it. Like I go to plenty of places and not every woman is wearing Lululemon. Some are wearing Kirkland brand sweatpants, right? Like, and that's okay. Like, but for some reason, when it comes to affiliates, it's like we need to be accessible to everyone. It's like, no, we don't. Like, that's life. Like, my stepfather, my entire childhood is like, life isn't fair. And if this is important to you, like Adam said, you'll figure it out. Whether it's cut back on other expenses, whether it's figure out a way to make an additional $205 a month, it's acceptable. And I would go as far as saying necessary for your business to not be accessible to everyone.
Well, I don't think it's so like I don't think you have to make. They're making it like it's one choice or the other. Either like you can help people out, or
you hate
you
people.
can make money. And I'm like, no, like it's not that. I mean, and so like for me, one, if they can't afford it, I ask like, what can you afford? And there's a gym in our area that's cheaper that I'll send people to that gym. Or if they're like, I can only afford $50 a month, and I'm like, hey, you're not going to go get coaching, but go to this 24-hour gym. I'll send you a couple websites that have workouts. Like you're going to have to do it on your own. But going back to the unreasonable hospitality is like, I will still give you next steps. Like, even if I'm not the next step. Or there's plenty of programs where once you get yourself making money, you now have money and bandwidth to do that thing, where we have gyms there's that youth probation program through CrossFit that gyms are doing, or like at my gym right now, we're doing Saturdays where we do a Bible study after class. So anybody from my church who comes and wants to do the Bible study, you're welcome to do the CrossFit class before.
That's freaking elitist, if anything. That's the most elitist thing.
Elitist.
I've got to read this book if I want to work out, right? Why did you do a Torah study?
I mean, the first part of the Bible is Torah. Your version is it's because your version's incomplete, Jay. We do Torah, but we do the whole thing. It's called the Bible.
You do part two. Man, have you ever seen a Torah? Have either of you seen a Torah in real life?
No.
They're huge. Like, when you have your bar mitzvah, there's a point. Man, it's been so long since I've been to temple. You basically carry, I was like, I don't know. I was like tiny, right? I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to carry this thing. And then you walk around and people like touch it, like it's just part of the Saturday ceremony. But the Torah, like, no wonder the Bible's taken off more than the Torah. It's more accessible. It's just easier.
Complete version.
You get it on your phone.
James digs it. You should do it, James. If you do it, let me know. Allie Kimbrell was talking about
James would be a very unique situation because James is, I don't know what term I'm supposed to use. Born again, maybe? James, are you born again? Yeah. Is that a thing?
I mean, if he's a Christian.
But the owner of Albany CrossFit is very Jewish, so it'd be like very interesting. They should have opposing.
James has work to do, is what you're saying.
They should have like who can study the Bible or Torah and then win the workout.
I think James and I should have a race. Who can we convert faster? Me to you, or him to his owner?
You have a better. You could convince me to do many things, right? Like Shai, the owner of James, would never be able to. James will tell you that. Hey, real quick though, you brought up a point for Adam. Yeah. Adam recently went into the prison.
Oh, did you, Adam?
Not in a bad way. Like in a good way.
Arrested.
Yeah. And worked with some of the guys that I did the prison seminar with at Buena Vista.
Yeah, it was good. Those guys are hungry for some knowledge, and I was hesitant going in and wasn't sure what to expect. And as soon as I walked through the door, there were notebooks and pencils and asked questions on stimulus and thresholds and things like that. And I plan on going back, and we'll do a little bit more like coaching side of it.
Did you do that just on your own, or did you do that through an organization, Adam?
I just showed up. Yeah, I mean,
you just showed up to the prison and like,
well, one of the coaches at the gym down in Salida, 30 minutes down the street, she works at the prison and is a coach at Salida, and so I got a letter. They got to send letters, and so they sent a letter to the local affiliate, and they asked if I'd come in and ask or answer questions. And so I reached out to the officer and kind of coordinated a time for me to come in, and just said, "Yeah, I'll
You
come
gotta
in."
take a
They-
trip
Spent
to
2 hours.
Buena Vista, spend the night at the Fullers, no TV.
No
And
TV.
the only thing, if I can bring Madison so she can learn from Harper, can Madison
sleep.
come?
If Madison keeps Harper up, though,
She's out. And then we'll go to the
Gotta
prison
sleep in the
together
shed.
one day. We'll get some footage going. That'd be fun.
But last thing on that, Jay, I just wanted to bring it full circle. Adam could do that. He can go to that prison and go do that because he makes enough money with his gym that he left his job and now has the bandwidth to go do that thing, to go coach people that aren't going to pay him.
This is, I second your thing, because it was hit or miss. It was hit or miss with you, Christian. I wasn't sure. This was actually a test. I was like, is Adam going to replace Christian? But no, that's such a good point, right? Like, to all the people saying it's elitist, because Adam charges enough, and it's what Hormozy talks about. Like, you have to sell to the rich, and I know that's gonna get people are gonna
Man,
jump.
No,
you're
but
just
it's
gonna
like this
kill
why
the
we all
you're
have
going to kill the
cars.
podcast on that statement.
That's it. You gotta cancel. No, it's you have to sell to
they're gonna
people that
watch
can
this.
afford it to allow it to trickle down. If you try to sell it for low cost, you're never going to be able to help everyone. But by selling it at 205, now Adam's like, you're literally helping people that could never afford it. Like, they can't even get there. They're stuck where they are, right? Like,
Yeah.
so cool that you did that.
Yeah.
We'll ask Bert about that, James.
We're going to add to the curriculum, James.
Yeah.
How many
I mean,
many lessons would that need? How many chapters are in the Bible? 5?
Oh, you're going to have to do
Like
one
6.
per chapter? I mean, I think we would just facilitate. We'd be like,
Isn't
this
it
is
just
how you
like Genesis,
facilitate it.
Deuteronomy?
There's 2 of them. You're doing pretty good so far.
yeah. I
that
mean,
was
when
a
it comes
really
to,
great point, Christian. You freaking nailed it on that one. That was so
when it
good.
comes to like owning the gym at my house too, it's like my overhead is only the software, and I don't have a big expenses. And so if people are, when they make those decisions for their big gyms, with 40 members in my garage with a staff of coaches, making as much as I was as a teacher. I don't know if I'm making drastically more, but I'm able to do this during the day. I'm able
Per
to go to
hour,
the
you're
prison.
making like 10 times more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because I was at school from 7 to 7, right? And now, I coach 2 classes, work out 1, do some fun business stuff. Fun. I mean, I love doing it. I love my job, and then I don't even coach the afternoon class. I'm just making dinner. And
You get
I just get
feedback
to
on
connect with
that?
people.
Does Julia give you feedback on your dinner preparation?
No, I like it's like a sanctuary in here a little bit, like during class time. The unreasonable hospitality is like, it's not only like those contact points, but there's so many things of our house where it's like, hey, we can't use our foyer the way that most people use their foyer. Like, your shoes have to go in the closet, your coats have to go in the closet. Like, you can't, like, so that part, like, my family is kind of at the root of that. But also, like, hey, there's 2 bathrooms in our house and one's in the master, and so that's not available to gym members, and so there's 1 bathroom and it's always clean. And like, there's always, like, when you walk past the kitchen, it's clean, everything's clean. And so I can't really make dinner and make a mess because it more bothers me. Julie doesn't care. She's just like, let's have dinner soon. But yeah, there's hundreds of things that we do for hospitality.
All right, last personal question for Adam.
Oh boy.
Are you ready? All right. You're making dinner for Julia,
Mhm.
and you really want to impress her tonight. What's the go-to? What's your go-to dinner for the fam?
Julia really likes spontaneous dinner, and so if it can be a little different than the usual meat and potatoes, so I would say a smoked or salmon.
Wait, this is the analogy was you are the meat and potatoes, right, Adam? That's what you meant?
Yeah. Maybe. I would do a salmon poke bowl with sesame oil and that type of dish. So
Is
like
that
a
what you're
raw
gonna make
salmon.
tonight for Julia if she's watching this?
Sure. There's salmon in the fridge, so I guess so. I'll
There you
I'll
go,
send you
Julia.
feedback.
I know she watches every episode. Pokey for Julian Harper, and he was telling me it was like right, it must have been right before Halloween when we had dinner, and he's like, Harper will trade in all of her candy
Oh yeah.
for some dried mango.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what though, I can get my daughter to behave for nearly 24 hours for one piece of candy. It's worth it. I'm like, you get one piece. I'm gonna pick you up from school today, and I'm gonna bring you one of the minis. But like all day long, I'm like, are you being a big girl? Are you gonna be? And then Adam won't approve of this either. But I got her to nap all weekend long for about 15 minutes of Toy Story. So she doesn't get any screen time, like zero screen time. That's like one thing we work hard at. And she's going to Disney World when we have the mastermind. I'm bringing her. My parents are taking her, and I wanted her to like have some exposure to that stuff. And we listened to You Got a Friend in Me by Randy. That's like one of my favorite songs. And I was like, did you know this is a movie? And she was like, she doesn't quite get it. And I was like, let's watch that together, but you have to nap. And then she didn't nap Sunday, but she had off yesterday because it was Veterans Day. So she had napped. And then last night we watched like 20 minutes. So bribery is everything.
You gotta screen those movies, man. Movies can be scary. Toy Story?
I know it's
Crazy.
been like 30 years. I remember I saw it in the movies. I didn't screen it. There's been nothing thus far. There was a couple like Bo Peep's a little risque, if I'm saying, but
there's adult jokes in there.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
she was like
over their heads.
Yeah, so she likes Buzz Lightyear, but
did you see the part where Potato Head takes off his mouth and puts it on his butt?
That's funny you say that because I was like, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
the first time when the Slinky was like kissing his butt, right? That's so funny you said that because I was like, I'm gonna try to watch this from that adult perspective.
Oh yeah,
and I was like definitely catching like some of that humor, and I'm sure there's like 4 or 5 Toy Stories now. I'm sure I'll catch more as we go. All right. So let's recap. Adam is better than us because he doesn't watch any Netflix. His kid still takes naps at 5 years old. All that stuff. No, man, it's been awesome. Mr. Unreasonable Hospitality, like I told you, I want you to document all because you do some awesome stuff for your members, and I think it's important. Would love to have you present that at some point because those little, it's all the little stuff that, again, allows you to charge a premium, which, as Christian pointed out, is actually what allows you to help everyone. So this was fun, guys.
If anyone I don't know how many viewers we have too.
11.
Oh wow! If any of the 11 reach out.
What's your email?
cftinair.com.
What was it? Sorry.
cftinair@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram, cftinair. If you have questions on hospitality things, let me know. As it relates to, hospitality is also so different when these people come through my house. It's family, and so when I do things for them, it's doing things for a family member. Those little touches, it's easy to do it because I care so much about the outcome of these people's days and weeks and lives. So when I reach out and call somebody on their birthday, it's because I care about them. It's not hard to think about. You don't have to like think hard on what we're going to do for this person. You just listen. Oh, they just started mountain biking. Cool. Guess what? I heard that their birthday's here. Here's a mountain biking thing, and here's an experience for you. So, reach out anytime. I love talking about it.
That's, you know what, we can't wrap up without really nailing that because I think you did yourself a disservice. And good to hear Alexis loving it. Lewis says, yeah, that's it, Jimmy. You care. And I guess what we should really all of this is, if we're talking about nutrition as the foundation of CrossFit, like care is the foundation of coaching. Because as you just said, Adam, it's like, it's not work for you. You're just listening. And when you care, that allows you to do all the other things that lead, and I'm not sitting here trying to belabor it's like about the 205, but it's like all of you people that struggle to wrap your head around charging this and doing full memberships, unlimited, etc. In part, I think it's because you lack what Adam just said. Because if you care that much, everything else is easy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's good. You like that, Jimmy Nixon? Jimmy Nixon, come up with the rest of it for me and then let me steal it. All right. Care's at the bottom. Let's do it real quick. Care. Then you would have like seeing, correcting, presence, and all the other stuff, maybe. What do you think? What would be the tippy top of coaching?
Oh, I don't know. I think you could flip it. I don't know. Care, yeah. It doesn't matter. Care's on the bottom. Everything else
we'll
gets
figure it
filtered out
out.
by that.
We'll do that. Jimmy Nixon.
Everything else on top of it.
By the time I see you in
Jimmy
Orlando,
Nixon.
I want that written out. I mean, Jimmy, great dude over there. I'm psyched to have you and Jimmy on together. That's going to be a lot of fun. Speaking
This
of,
might be the first Jimmy's hearing about it. I haven't told him yet.
oh, I don't remember if I did. Maybe I didn't.
That's
Jimmy,
okay.
if you're just hearing about it, I want to have you and Adam on the podcast together. Christian's going to be heading up all the media while we're in Orlando, but I want to do some combined episodes with like affiliate owners, if you will. So 2 garage gym owners. Jimmy's over in Georgia doing it. Awesome. He's got a coach, Frankie, that crushes it. So really pumped for that. Orlando Mastermind. If you're an affiliate owner and you're watching this and you're not currently an affiliate U client, shoot us an email, support@besthouroftheirday.com. We've got a handful of spots for non-clients, and we'd love to see if you can make it. We'll book a call with you. This weekend, the team is heading to the UK. Best Hour goes international. Steve Haydock is going to do a tremendous presentation at the UK Affiliate Summit. Cody and Lindsay are heading over to, help spearhead that. And I'm excited to, venture. Well, I won't be there, but to, get the good word over there. Anything else we need to mention, Christian?
We're still running the credential promo. So if you sign up for Affiliate U, you get free level 1, 2, 3, or 4 for you. Or if you don't need it, you can gift it to a coach.
Yeah, you can gift it to a coach if you're but yeah, you're level 3, you're level 4. You need it, essentially. Unless you're me or Adam, you can use one of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
But AAA, we'll get you on. But who would we have AAA on with? Actually, AAA's not been on the podcast.
You need somebody else who's young.
No,
and...
we can put Keenan. We can get Keenan on the podcast.
Yeah, AAA.
He's got a special coming though. We got a special just for Keenan.
Oh, when is that? Oh, we haven't done that one yet.
Right.
Yeah, but Anna Floyd's coming out soon. Behind the Scenes is coming out soon. All right, let's get out of here. What's that?
Land the plane.
Land the plane. Yeah, let's get out of here. Hey, Doc, thanks so much for being on. You're doing great things over there. And yeah, I would. What about 3 hours? I got to figure it out. I'm gonna,
to your house. Yeah, 2.5, 3 hours.
Right, because you were just here. I'm gonna bring Madison. Julia has to take the day off.
Yeah, right.
And she's gonna watch Madison.
Someone's got to pay the bills.
You're gonna Harper can 6-year-olds watch 3-year-olds? Is that how it works?
Sure.
We'll figure it out. All right. Talk to you both later.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Later, guys.